it's Modesty. Welcome back to my channel. I am here with my sister-in-law, Caitlin. Say hi to the viewers.
Hello.
As I said on Snapchat, I am doing her makeup for her wedding, and I thought I would film the trial, well, the final trial. This is the last we're doing for your wedding, right? Yeah. And we just want to do the whole shebang. I thought I'd show you guys how I do it. She does her eyeliner mascara because we're terrified of her being poked in the eye. You know how that goes. So, anyways, if you'd like to see how I do her makeup for a wedding, then just keep watching. Alright you guys, I'm excited. Let's get into this video. So I'm going to start out by priming her eyes using concealer, of course. It is my personal choice to do it this way because it kills two birds with one stone. No animals were harmed in this voiceover. And it basically primes your eyelids, and on top of that it covers up any darkness or veins or, you know, what have you. So now, of course, you got to set that. I'm just using Brule, one of those two from MAC. It's just a skin tone color eyeshadow to set that. And now I'm taking MAC Wedge, and I'm taking this on a Sigma E40, and I'm buffing it back and forth. But as you can see, the majority of the pigmentation is on the outer V. That is how she wanted her smoky eye. She didn't want it dragged all the way to the inner corner. She just wanted to be diffused towards the center. I am being very light-handed because, like I said, she's a very natural person. She loves her makeup very nice and simple, so I build the color a lot more slowly than I would on my eyes, just because it is her personal preference. So now I'm just going back and forth until it was the pigmentation that she desired. I am also going with soft brown right over top of that wedge. I really like mixing blending colors because it makes the blending out process easier in the long run. Now I'm taking Saddle. I'm taking this on the Sigma E25, and I'm putting it right over top of the previous two shades, but I'm keeping this shade a lot lower and a lot more centralized. I did switch brushes in the middle of this shade because I wanted the initial product to be totally blended out, and then I wanted a more I guess, specific area that I want the color to be. So that's why I went in with two brushes. And the E18, because it is synthetic, it packs on a little bit more color. So of course that brush is going to be a little bit smaller. Now I'm going with Swiss Chocolate, which is her favorite eyeshadow from MAC. It is absolutely pretty. It's a really nice chocolate brown with purple undertones. And that's why we also went in with a little bit of purple later on, because the purple really complemented Swiss Chocolate because of those undertones. So I'm applying the color with just this really precise Morphe brush, and then I'm blending it out with an E40. I have to keep the shades a lot lower on her eyelids because her eyes are smaller than mine, and she has less eyelid space than I do. So smaller brushes are key when you have a little bit smaller eyes. I am going in with the E45 just to reapply some color. You want everything to be totally balanced out, and I feel like we want it to be a little bit darker, so we added a little bit more color, and I blended it out. That is a hard word to say. As I mentioned, we were going to be adding some purple, so here I am. I'm going with MAC Sketch. And this is a really pretty deep purple. It has small flakes of shimmer, but not so much that you can't use it in your crease. Like, it's basically matte except for a few flecks here and there. So I apply the color, and then I'm taking a little bit fluffier brush to blend it out. I'm blending it all over the crease because this is how we want to do the smoky eye. She didn't want it all over the lid. She just wanted it to be nice and diffused out. So now I'm going to be moving onto her face. I'm using the Makeup Forever Step 1. It's the one in the gray packaging. It's the mattifying one. She has oily skin, so we decided to go with a mattifying primer. But on the actual wedding day, we did use a different primer because we found that this one, for some reason, was beating up. So now I'm taking a green color corrector because she does have some redness on her jawline. She had a little bit of a breakout, so we decided to cover up the redness to neutralize it, and then I went in with foundation and a little bit of concealer to make sure everything was covered up. Now, I want you to keep in mind that I am using the wand that comes with the green color corrector. Everything is sanitized and everything. You always want to make sure everything is clean and sanitized when you're doing makeup on others, just because everyone's skin is different and bacteria can transfer. So I had two separate color correctors. One I used on myself and one I used on her. And this one is the one that I purchased for the wedding. Anyways, so I applied it with the wand, and then I'm going through and I'm just patting it in with my finger because I initially didn't want to use a sponge because I didn't want it to soak up too much of the product. I wanted to neutralize the red first, and then any excess product I would then soak up with a sponge. As mentioned before, I did want to go into the sponge after I had it pressed in, and this just further pushed it in the skin, and it gave it a more natural finish. And now I'm going with some foundation. Her foundation choice is the MAC Studio Fix Fluid in the shade NC15. Luckily, we are actually in the same shade. So I just went ahead and I applied some foundation. I know it looks super, super white on her. And one, it was the lighting, and two, we were both using the Jergens Natural Glow color lotion thing, the past few days, getting ready for the wedding. So it was a little bit light, but then once you apply the bronzer, the blush, the highlight, everything, you can't even tell a difference. So it totally worked out. And right here, as I mentioned, the primer was actually beading up, and that's what I was just discussing with her right there, that for some reason the foundation and concealer just kept separating on the nose, and we had never experienced that during a makeup trial. And you know what? That's the point of makeup trials, trial and error. So as mentioned, we did go in and use a different primer on the day of the wedding. Anyways, now I'm taking concealer to go over the areas that I put the green color corrector. You can't see the green through the foundation, but I felt like I could see a hint of it through the foundation, so I just put in some concealer just to be sure. And now I'm just pushing that into her skin with a beauty sponge. This is her Real Technique sponge. I got her hooked on it because they are amazing, and I like it because it soaks up all the excess product and prevents cakiness. I can't remember what we were talking about right there. Probably the girl was running around, but yeah, she's holding my daughter, once again her niece, because she just wasn't having it that day. She just wanted all the attention. Anyway, so now I'm setting under her eyes using just some setting powders, a banana shade, and a little bit of a subtle highlight shade. And I'm using a tapered highlighter brush to set that. You just don't want any creasing, so I was having her look up when I was setting it. And I'm going ahead and I'm setting anywhere else that I put concealer. I'm now setting her face with the Urban Decay De-Slick setting powder. This powder, it's translucent, but it has a little bit of blue hue to it, so it's perfect for photos. Now I'm taking the Tarte Amazonian Clay Park Avenue Princess Bronzer, and I'm just going to be bronzing her skin. With her skin, we just felt like bronzing looked better than contouring. I mean, I do clean up the bronzer line, so it does give a little bit of definition, but we really just want to warm up her skin. She wanted to look very natural, with still being a little bit of glam on her wedding day, which a lot of people look for. So bronzing is very, very, very common for weddings. And I'm using just the Morphe M527, I believe, to bronze up her face. We were making a joke about how she looked so white and how much of a difference the bronzer made. So you can't even tell that the foundation looked a little bit light once you add the bronzer. Anyway, so now I'm bronzing under her chin a little bit, just once again to make everything look all blended together and make it not look like the foundation was a little bit off, you know what I'm saying? So we were just warming up the skin, warming up the jawline, the neck, and everything. So now I'm going to be cleaning that up just to give her a little bit of definition, and I'm using the Coty Airspun Loose Finishing Powder. This is my ride or die. I would use this on absolutely anyone. It's absolutely amazing. Anyways, I applied that with her damp sponge because it gave a really nice line, and it just gives it a really nice natural look. And then we let it sit there for a few minutes while I did her blush and highlight. I did go ahead and just dab a little bit of powder on the center of the forehead just because she does have a smaller face than me, and it was looking a little bit muddy, I feel like, so I just want to clean it up. Now for blush, her blush of choice for her wedding was MAC Melba, which is a very common choice because MAC Melba looks beautiful on absolutely everyone. So I used MAC Melba and I used my E4 to pat that onto the apples of her cheeks. And now I'm taking Becca Opal Highlighter, which was also her highlighter of choice for her wedding day. And this brush, you guys, is just absolutely awful. I got it in my Live Glam, and the brush itself was good, but then once I washed it, it just went poof, and fluffed out like that, and yeah, it made me really mad. I need to wash it, and I just need to roll it so that it doesn't fluff out or anything like that. I just need a drying shaper, I think. Anyways, now I'm just taking whatever brush and I'm just dusting off all that excess powder, and then it reveals a nice natural contour line. For her brows, I'm taking the BH Cosmetics Studio Pro Brow Pencil. This is the one that's just like the Anastasia Brow Wiz, and this is so much better than Anastasia Brow Wiz and so much cheaper than Anastasia Brow Wiz. And she is in the shade medium. Even though she has blonde highlights, she does have naturally brown hair, so we were able to get away with using a brown eyebrow pencil. Now, she didn't want any crazy shaping. She just needed a little bit of correction because she actually naturally has beautiful eyebrows, and there was just a little bit of sparse areas that need to be filled in, and that is all we did for her eyebrows.
I do comb through eyebrows one more time, and then I think we've applied some eyebrow gel off camera, but then she also did go ahead and do her eyeliner and her mascara off camera. It was just, you know, a personal choice when we talked about how we were going to do her makeup and everything. She was actually the first person I had ever done bridal makeup on people, so I was terrified of messing up, so I was like, you do your eyeliner and your mascara, but on the actual wedding day, I did everyone else's eyeliner and mascara that day. We are moving on to her lips. I'm just taking this brownish lip pencil from NYC. It's just a lip pencil. She doesn't line her lips usually, but I wanted to find the line of her lips because I was using a lip stain on her, and I'd never worked with a lip stain on anyone else before, so I was kind of terrified, and I didn't eat that day, so my hands were really shaky, so I was really nervous. But this color, you guys, it's so gorgeous. I'll have to ask her the name of it. I can't remember the name of it. This is her product that she had purchased. And I'll put it down below if you guys are interested in it, but it's a really pretty rosy color. And this part is a stain, and the other side is a gloss. And it is gorgeous, you guys. It has a teeny bit of vamp to it for some drama, but it's just so dialed back. I think it's the perfect color for weddings. Anyways, it took us forever to do the lips because, like I said, I was so shaky that day. I was nervous because I've never done a video with anyone else. So I was kind of nervous because of that, and I was shaky, like I said, because I hadn't eaten at all. So I was very shaky. So in the end, we ended up having her finish off her lips just because she also has smaller lips than me, and mine are more rounded on the bottom, and hers are a little bit more flat. So as you can see on the bottom, I'm having her touch up her lower part where she was a little bit flatter, and then she's doing her Cupid's bow area because, you know, everyone's is different and people know their own lips better. That's just how it is. Everyone knows their face better. So a lot of times, actually, when you do other people's makeup, they'll want to do their lips and their eyeliner. That is very, very, very common. But I do clean it up with a Q-tip, just because, you know, this lip stain, it seemed like it was a little hard to work with. But yeah, we made it through it. This was our first time using the lip product, so this was a kind of new thing for both of us. But I cleaned it up, and then I touched up her nose a couple seconds ago because, like I said, it was beating up and everything. So now I'm touching up her lips with some concealer because when you do a dark lip, you always want to use concealer because it just makes the line look cleaner. So I'm taking a precision Q-tip and concealer, and I'm just lining her lips. After that, she did decide that she wanted to gloss them up, so she took the gloss on the other side of her lip stain, and she made her lips a little bit glossy, and it just looked super gorgeous. After that, I did set her face. I used the Scandinavia setting spray because it just works great on everyone. And then I did use the Pixie Dye Petra Glow Mist for a little bit more dew because you want to be nice and dewy on your wedding day. So we did that. And that completes her look. I really hope you guys enjoyed seeing me do makeup on someone else. And I love doing this video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye. Ha, 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 ha. No, no, no. No. Okay. Still sucks, though.
I know. I'm spicy and I know. Ah! I should like Instagram on set with Modesty. Okay. Hi guys, it's Modesty. Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm here with an April beauty favorite. I know I'm a couple days late on this. I was busy with the wedding and yada yada yada. Had to go pick up a couple giveaway prizes. And now I'm sitting down and I'm